Hello, it's Nicole with No It's Crochet. And correct, I am not out in the RV. This video is being pre-recorded, but it's all good, right? And happy 4th of July for those of you that are in the United States. And so I have a special yarn to work up today and review, and that is the Caron Sweetie Cakes in the colorway Showtime. Now, when I was doing my research, I wanted a red, white, and blue yarn for today, and unfortunately this one also has some orange in it, but we'll let that slide. We're just gonna go with the red, white, and blue vibe there. So this is Caron Sweetie Cakes in Showtime. It is a 100%, no, sorry, 75% acrylic, 25% nylon. And these are 227 grams, 480 yards. So my guess on this is that it is going to score a, I'm going to say a 3.5. 3.5. Let's pop over to the table and find out. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below before we get over there. I want to know what you think this is going to score. Is it going to get higher? Is it going to get lower? I don't know. We're going to have to see. Here we go. Hello, and here we are with the Caron Sweetie Cakes just in time for 4th of July. Now, I don't know about this orange in a red, white, and blue, but I guess they're not really advertising it as red, white, and blue, so we're just going to go with it as is and pretend the orange isn't there just in time for 4th of July. It's all good. So the Sweetie Cakes is only available from Michaels. While Caron is a Yarnspirations, I could not find the Sweetie Cakes on the Yarnspirations website. I did pick this up at Michaels. Okay, so let's pull out some of this cake and work it up. It is calling for a 5.5mm crochet hook, so I pulled out my knockoff 5.5 Clover Soft Touch, which is not my favorite. I mean, I love the Soft Touch, but the knockoff ones are not that great. The quality is just kind of lacking overall. You get what you pay for on this one for sure. They work in a pinch, but they're definitely not going to be the ones that I grab most often. All right, let's pull some of you out. And while we are here, we're going to go ahead and pull out our trusty gauge and see. Oh yeah, that's a spot-on worsted weight. No issues for sure there. Sometimes they don't get the yarn names right, and it's a challenge when they do, because you know you're like, okay, maybe this isn't quite what I was expecting, and then we've spent money on something, so I like to make sure that it is acknowledging whether or not it is a true worsted weight. Oof, I'm getting a frog in my Farah is in my throat. Let me clear that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we want to make sure that it is the actual weight that they are advertising. Now, as I said, this is available from Michaels. You can get it in the store or at michaels.com. And it is Caron Cakes are usually specialty items, so it's not going to be available forever. At least these colorways probably are not going to be available forever. It came out, I believe, at the beginning of the year, maybe somewhere around there. So it hasn't been out all that long. But sometimes the Caron comes out and it's very brief. They'll come out with a yarn and it only lasts one season. So, it's kind of hit or miss what you can get with the Caron Cakes. If you see something and you like it, you better go ahead and pick it up. Now on Ravelry, there are only 45 projects using this yarn. Again, since I think it only came out about 6 months or so ago, give or take, that would explain why there's only 45 projects. A lot of people have bought it. There's actually 90 in stash, which a lot of people will buy these Caron cakes just because they love the colorways, and they probably don't get around to using them as much as they might consider using them. So that is definitely a possibility to consider. But of those 45 projects, 31 of them were crochet. So it is definitely a crochet oriented yarn, or at least geared towards more crocheters. Knitters tend to not pick it up quite as much. Now, on the Michaels website, there were 69 reviews of it with an average rating of 4.8. On Ravelry's website, there were only 6 reviews and it got a 4.7. So pretty good reviews overall. Nothing to complain about there. This does feel very much like your basic acrylic, even though there's that nylon in there. I mean, it's not miserable. It's not a red heart. It's not unpleasant. I think I could use some of this and will use this for a couple of projects that I have in mind, but it's not the most pleasant overall. I mean, you know, it's just kind of your average acrylic. Nothing to write home about, but nothing that is going to deter me from using it overall. All right. Oops. I have used one other of the Caron cakes, and that was a latte cake. I really, really liked the latte cake. I mean, if you don't like fuzzy yarn, you're not going to like the latte cakes. But it gives almost the effect of using like a mohair in your yarn without the challenge of using a mohair in your yarn. And the end result of that was super soft. I made a little shrug sweater, kind of a crop sweater basically, and I love wearing it. It is so soft and fuzzy. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of opportunities because it is just too warm here in Arizona for sweaters. Especially sweaters like that, made out of acrylic and that are meant to be warm and fuzzy. But when I do get to wear it, I really enjoy it because it's soft. It's one of those for tactile people, you just get to love on it, and sometimes that's all it's about, right? You know, sometimes it's just making the project. This, as I work with this, it's not bad. The speckles in this are quite cute. I really like that effect. It kind of almost gives it a little bit of a sparkler vibe without the tinsel kind of thing, but just the speckled look is really a nice effect. Now, I didn't get to any of the solid colors, but they're pretty obvious in here what you can get to on that. All right, so there we are with our single crochet. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, let's set this aside. I'm going to bring out our double crochet, which I have already washed and dried, so we get a good example of that. And there you can see there's actually some of the blue starting out in there, so you can kind of see how that changes a little bit overall. Now this is an interesting, you can actually see, I don't know if you can very well, but there are tones of the red coming through. It's kind of almost a pinkish. And so you can kind of almost see some of the flavor throughout, making it not quite a full-on 4th of July kind of yarn. And again, it's not billed as such. I just saw red, white, and blue and thought, oh, hey, 4th of July. Okay, so, you know, we'll give it for that. All right, let's pull out our score sheet here. Caron Sweetie Cakes, oh my gosh. I don't remember what I scored it. Ah, shoot. I'm going to say a 3.8. 5. The hook size is a 5.5. It is a worsted for sure, definitely a worsted. Fiber content is your basic acrylic and nylon, so it is a low-cost acrylic polyester blend, which puts it into a 2. Now, our feel on the skein, it feels like kind of that middle of the road acrylic. It's not super soft like a Caron Simply Soft, and it is not super scratchy like a Red Heart. It is definitely kind of middle of the road on that. But on our feel scale for all yarns, it's going to kind of fall into that 3, which is a standard range. Now colors, there weren't a ton of different options. Again, this is kind of a specialty yarn, so colors are usually limited in those. And the color range on this comes in at 16, so we're going to give that a 2.5. Splitting, I didn't have any splits, no problems whatsoever there. Now stitch definition, I mean, it's not terrible, but I definitely wouldn't say it's crisp or clean by any means. I mean, it's just kind of there. So we're gonna give that one an average 3. Now drape. All right, first we're gonna check this single crochet. I mean, it actually feels pretty drapey overall for a thicker, heavier, well, thicker to me, a 4-weight yarn. So, I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely got some flow to it. I'm not disappointed with that drape, and I would be totally fine using that for something I expected a little bit more drape on. I'm gonna give it a 3. No, we're gonna give it a 4. I think it earns a 4. Frogability, I don't see any problems here. Yeah, not a problem. We'll give that a 5. Now, washability, I was disappointed on this washability. It is machine wash, but it's machine wash delicate and dry delicate as well. So you can't even dry it with a regular. So we're going to give that a 3 overall. Price, I mean, it's not ultra budget, but as a kind of specialty yarn that you might splurge on once in a while, it comes in at the affordable 3 cents per yard, so that's a 4. All right, let's do up our math and see what score we get. It's not looking too good, is it? Well, I don't know. We'll see. All right, we come in at 31.5, which gives us a nice round 3.5. 3.5. I mean, it's your average acrylic. So if it comes in some colors that you find are fun and festive, and you can kind of see a little bit here how some of that works up in the picture, then maybe that's something that you're actually looking forward to. For sure, take a look at it and give it a try. Let me know if you have tried the Sweetie Cakes, and if so, what you thought about those. I would love to hear from you. I hope you have a terrific 4th of July. Thanks so much for joining me for just a little bit of that time, and we will see you next week on another Crochet Swatch Saturday. Farrah, frog us out of here.